Hey friends, good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Crafty Bunch today. It is Monday, which is Crafter's Choice. And I'm Cheryl with Mama P's Crafty Creations. I am up first today, so I'm hopping on a few minutes early, take care of some business here, and get started with some stuff today. I have decided that I need to change my Monday schedule to Clear the Decks Monday or something, because I have got so many projects going, and by Monday, hey Kendra, I need to get some stuff moved out of the way. So I think we're going to come up with a catchy name for that, and Mondays is going to be Clear the Decks Monday or something. Hey guys, good morning. Thank you, Stephanie. Welcome in, guys. Welcome in. I forgot to even put my Crafty Bunch shirt on, so just imagine me in a beautiful yellow shirt that says the Crafty Bunch, if you would. And up after me is the fabulous Chris Hunter. She is our special guest today, so you are definitely going to want to hang around and see what Creating with Chris Hunter is up to. Hey, Patty. Hey, guys, come in. Come in. So I am serious about the mess. Hey, Jenny, that I get inspired with something and I work on things. I'm so glad you're here with me live today. And I have all of this half finished stuff, and then I kind of get overwhelmed and lost. So I want to do several things this morning. I got a wonderful package of Happy Mail, and I'm going to open that with you. I opened a corner just to peek, and then I want to open that with you, and maybe we can use some of that in a project today. I still am in the works with my black and white memory decks. That's for my secret sister. And I need to create some cards for that. My goal was to have 12 pretty decorated cards in there. I think I have about 6. So that's on the table. I have one of my vintage quilt blocks out here that I want to make a real journal in with sewn in pages. And all of these little hearts I have been stitching around, but none of them right there. The ones that are stitched around are in another pile somewhere. And I want to get those done. There's just a lot. So let's see what we can get through. So I'm going to tell you that Miss Kathy Onstead sent me this envelope full of goodies. And I peeked this much. And then I decided that we would open it together, because I think it would be fun to open it and then use some of it. But it looks to be full of all kinds of creative tidbits. They put yours to shame. What put yours to shame? Oh, the ATC cards. No, they're so much fun. You love the quilt block and the hearts. The quilt blocks and all of that will be available at my sale on Friday. We have got several quilt block options. One will be to buy single quilt blocks, and that's just a quilt block. I have 2 different patterns, and sorry, these are in the worst shape. I kept them for me. So one of the patterns is this one, right? And we have already created 3 covered notebook, journaly books from this particular quilt set. And then I had fun. I made a tote bag. Y'all, look at this. I hand stitched the sides, and I put handles with some border off the quilt, and it is 2 quilt blocks. So I'll have some 2 block panels available. Hi Eileen, if I'm missing you guys coming on, I'm so sorry. I am slow-eyed this morning. So no, I appreciate you. If I don't say hi, I do try to go back and watch. Okay. And so this one is the other pattern, and it's very similar colored. This is a flying geese pattern. At least that's what I always called it, and has the blue polka dot border. It's a thinner. It's not quite as heavy. The batting's not as thick. So I want to make at least 1 tote bag out of this as well. So we will have single panels. We're going to have some mini kits that will have a little bit of the lace. Hey, Valerie, like what we used in the covers, and a few of the big old buttons. And I do have several sets, not enough, of the, what I was calling the strap material, because this quilt had an extra binding around it. Okay, so I want to I want to sew some pages into these, but the ones that I'm holding out for you guys are in pretty good shape. But this one, the ones that I saved for me are not in such good shape. I used to love to make quilts, and I want to say I would love to do it again. I'm not sure I ever will get back to it though. You know, let's just be honest. I'm just not sure. So that's on my table along with some fabulous papers that I pulled out over here. Coffee stain paper, ledger paper, music paper, the business papers that I bought. And so I want to do one of these with some vintage papers. All of these that we've made so far are, they have pre-made notebooks in them, right? So we did them in like a traveler's notebook style and put either these that were just purchased and are beautiful on their own, or we covered some. So I would like to put one together that's, you know, the whole shebang, the real thing. Old paper wrapped in an old quilt. What could be better, right? What could be better than that? Okay, so, and then when I get so many things on the table, then we go. Aren't they beautiful, Carol Ann? I love both of these quilt tops. They both had major flaws in them and were definitely cutter quilts. But I love them, and I don't mind the snaggly parts. They're some of my favorites. Some of these little hearts that I cut out are really raggedy and rough, and I don't even care. I love that too. Okay, take a peek. Look at that. Look in there. Let's see what we've got, and let's see what of it we can use today. Oh my gosh, there's seam binding in there. Oh my goodness. There we go. Oh, looky there. All right. That's the back. Oh, so man, you love them too, Jenny. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. All right. Oh, and while we're chit-chatting, and it's even not really my start time yet, let me just say that I'm working on the idea for the October swap. 2 things for the private swap group. Okay, I need you in that group to tell me 2 things. I know so many goodies, Angela. Hi, Diane. 1, would you be interested in a longer term commitment, like having one partner that you swapped with for like a year? And you know, it would be between the 2 of you, right? So about once a month you would swap with them. And also if you just want to do the October swap, and I am really leaning towards something with buttons. So would be, you know, probably 10 or 12 buttons, and then you put them together however you feel creative about it. Like I sewed some on bingo cards last week, remember that? Or you could do your own little vignette with them being like flowers in a flower garden. That's where I'm leaning. And I still think if we're careful, we could get them posted fairly inexpensively. Okay, so we have some beautiful pages here. Oh, wow, look at that. Look at that. You like those ideas, Sherry? Oh, good. And I welcome you guys' ideas in there too. If there's something that you would like to do, put them in there. Look at all the great images here. I love these across the bottom. See that? Those would be fun. That. Oh, but look how beautiful and misty that picture is. Okay. Huh. I would be very interested to know what this page came from. How neat. It's like advertisement. It's like for sale ads out of an old newspaper. Oh, look how sweet. You know how I love a good note card. Oops. Oh my goodness, look at that. Look at that. Okay, I'm making a bigger mess. I don't have room for a bigger mess on my table today. We're only, hush about Christmas. I can't even. I did buy my first Christmas gift. Oh, there goes my nose again. I think it's you guys. Of the season the other day. Normally I would be well on my way by now, but not. Roses are for remembrance. And this comes to say you're remembered very warmly and you're wished a happy day. Look at that. Man, I wish we had greeting cards like that still today. Okay, let's see, I dumped them over. Oh, we have great little sayings. Don't scrimp in order to leave money to your kids. There you go. There we go. be kinder than necessary. These are awesome. I love that. We've got some cards. We're not old, we're vintage. On my personal Facebook profile, it says definitely vintage and most likely antique. So I think that's a fair assessment. Hey, Miss Patty, how are you? Oh my gosh, look at the anniversary card. Kathy, these are beautiful. Thank you so much. All right, so, oh my gosh, look at this anniversary card. Let's set that over here. To my better half on our anniversary, it's twice as nice just being us as me and you, it's true. And when it comes to us, sweetheart, the better half is, oh, it's a pop-up. Look at that. You. The better half is you. Isn't that funny? Hi, Marcia. Good morning. Oh, I am blown away by these. I love vintage greeting cards. Look at this. It says, feeling better. Here's a friendly cheerer-upper sent along to say, won't be long until you're up and feeling real okay. I love vintage cards. Oh my goodness. This one's all glittery. I don't know if you can get that. I don't think we can today, but it's all glittery. It feels like diamond dust, like thick, glittery. A get well wish. Hope your illness is brief and you'll be enjoying a full recovery. Oh my gosh. The birthday card. That is so sweet. A birthday greeting for someone I'd like to see. Look at that. Oh. You can't use the vintage cards? Is that what you said? You don't want to? It's hard to. It is, Sherry. It is. Oh, look at this one has a little plastic spoon attached. And look, it has the old price sticker in it. Oh, my word. Look at that. Oh, yes. Real card saved by a real person. Oh, look at her. Oh, and a baby one. Look at that. Look at the stork driving the car. And the cute little bag. Oh, little Easter. Oh my gosh. I don't know. We may not get as far as I hoped. A sewing pattern. I love pattern. Oh, Kathy, there's a note. I'm going to tuck it over there and keep that just for me. You all. Happy Easter to a very nice girl. Little sewing notion holder. Oh my goodness, I was just looking for something like this the other day. And then we have some beautiful old seam bindings. There's some blue lace and some gray, some green, and a little bit of black. There's some white embroidery floss. My embroidery tub is sitting here on the table because I've been sewing around the outline of the bags and the little hearts. We have some snaps. We have this is like fabric. This is really cool. It's a tape measure, but it's not stiff. I love this. This would work for so many things because see that? It's not stiff. Aww. Look at this. It's is that a daffodil, you think? Isn't that sweet? Look, it's a teacup. There's the handle. Look at that. Y'all, I can't crochet a doily for all the tea in China. And look at that. They're making teacups. China teacups. This is certificate issued in 1909. For 2 shares, stock certificates. Look at that. It was a teacup, Angela. Isn't that cool? Look at these, y'all. Look at that. That is fabulous. And there's some more. 5 shares in 1909. Oh, 15 shares. They were getting up there. That's amazing. That's amazing. Oh, look, real stuff. Too kind to me. An Easter egg in the teacup. Oh my gosh, I bet you did too. These are more business papers. These I had, oh, look at how fragile that is. 1931 Department of State. Articles of Association papers, a telephone company, dated 1945. Oh my gosh, they're not, Kathy, you did not send, no. Look at this. This is the whole stock certificate and the little tag piece on it. Look at how beautiful they are on the back. Look at that. Those are amazing. The shares were $10 each, and you can't have them. They're all sold out now. But if you want some, I'll fill you out a sheet to feel better. And then on my favorite paper, wow. Wow. Oh my goodness. Kathy, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't know how to say thank you enough. That's amazing. Yeah, the little teacup is so fun. And you're right, it would perfectly hold a little Easter egg, wouldn't it? That is so cute. Look at that. Look at that. If anybody ever decides they know how to do that and want to teach a class, I'm all in that. Maybe. I think my hands would go numb in a hurry. Okay, so what are we motivated to do would be the question of the morning. And since now we pulled out some great papers, let's see what we can do with our quilt block that I have pulled out. So my thought is this is how big these are, and I tried to leave some border. I like a little border because, you know, sometimes it's going to flip. Isn't that the sweetest gift, Christina? I mean, really, that stuff just bowls me over. Okay, so I saved out a few pieces of the paper that Miss Kathy included. Let's put one of these. The Home Telephone Company of Grass Lake issued $50,000 in capital stock, and here is the certificate for that. And we have to use one of those. We have to. And then I want to use some of this really yellowed paper, but honestly, it needs a little bit. It's not going to sew in without wanting to crack. So I want to save it to use it inside. And then we have to put in one of the cards. I don't know. I think one of the anniversary cards. And I think we'll go with this one. I love the cheeky ones, though. I just love the cheeky ones. Okay. I grabbed a couple of the old bingo cards while I was outside. I grabbed some of not my most beautiful coffee stained paper. So this really is just dirty paper, but it's just copy paper that I have stained in stacks, and some of it gets beautiful pattern and some of it just gets a little dirty, and that's okay. I grabbed my big old ledger pad, partly for the ledger paper, but partly because I love the color. I grabbed a couple of pages of old dictionary. I grabbed a page out of the giant German Bible that I bought. Love me or hate me, but that's what this is. I grabbed some music. I have a large collection of really beautiful vintage music right now. I grabbed that. And then do you guys remember when we looked at this thing that I was able to get at one of the antique stores around me? And this is Genuine Documents as well. So I'm going to grab, this is a bundle that's small. And so we'll grab one of these. Have a great day. Hope we'll see you again later. I should have untied this with my no fingernails before we were all sitting here together, but I'm going to get one of these. I'm going to pick one for some color, I think, because it'll just be a little decorative type page. Oh, my goodness. There we go. Look at there. Whew. Okay. So we have all of these sweet letters. These are going to be, there will also be quite a few of this divided up in our paper packets at the end of the week. So let's just see. I want something that's a little bit sturdy. So let's grab this piece there because it's a nice thick paper. I'm not worried about it not holding up to being sewn in. Oh, your basement was flooding. Oh no. Oh, no, no, Christina. I am so sorry. Ah, gross. That's awful. The kids here next door, right after we moved in, their basement flooded. They had a sump pump system and it failed. And being the first time, they were not prepared. And ugh, that's awful. Okay, and then this is just my huge collection of antique documents. There's bonds, there's all kinds of things. This is a quick claim deed. I love these. Yes, our sale will be this Friday at 2 in the afternoon. My goal is, you guys. My goal is to have a sale the last Friday afternoon of every month. So that works out pretty well for me. Let's grab, boy, that is really frail too, which I love, but I don't want it to fall apart once we get it in there. The last Friday of the month at 2 seems to be what is working for me. Let's grab this one. It's hardy. Okay. And so these will be in our paper packs. I have lots and lots of music in our paper packs. I have those fun little coasters that I bought, you know, the really cute decorative ones. I want to make some hidden paper clips with some of those yet this week, so I kept a few out. Cool stuff. The German Bible, there will be pages in their old dictionary page. All the stuff, right? Okay, let's see. I have already misplaced my order of service here. Okay, so this certificate, I want to try to keep my pages because of the size, okay, of my quilt block. It's always, since we cannot really change the size of the fabric, we have to adjust the size of the papers to match the fabric. So I want to just kind of look and see what sizes we want to go with in the general, because, you know, we change all of these things, right? This, I think we could fold this back way, our little certificate piece, and this would make a really cute flip, and then we would have this. So I want to try to kind of go in the 8.5 by 11 realm, okay? And I don't mind at all, not one little bit, with my projects that it all matches. I don't, in this style, we don't really want it to be honest. Okay, so this is a giant deed, and I'm wondering if I want to leave it whole or take it apart. For now, let's leave it together. I don't know. I don't want to lose any of it. Thank you for sprinkling me. I appreciate it. Okay. And then the Bible paper is pretty hardy, but it is yellow. So we would not want it to be the center page in our signature nor the outer page. It'll need a little bit of support. And I'm just going to take some of this music. I am leaving it double thick in this case. Hi, Susan. How are you? And then this goes the other way. Some of it does. Most of the music I have this time was like choral arrangements. And I think that's great fun. Okay. So that one, let's rip in half. And this one, let's leave. And then we have our dictionary paper, and we have our sweet card. And I think I'll make the card be the center. I go both ways in my crafting. I love using the real vintage stuff, but I will use whatever. I will definitely use whatever I've got. Okay. Now, again, I just want to look at this and see, you see this piece here, this one legal document is wider quite a bit than the rest. And so I'm thinking we'll just fold it over at the one side to make a little tuck side out of that. Okay. And then this ledger paper is just big. By anybody's standards, it was made that way, right? So I like to take both sides of it and fold it in a little bit. And then since it's also so much longer than maybe need be, let's go this way. Yes, the card in the center. I've just set it over here so I don't lose it. I don't. Okay, so there we go. Now we're kind of, sort of in the same general size. And then for the plain paper in here, I just want to use this dirtied up coffee paper, okay? And I'm going to just go pretty page. Oh, y'all, my nose, I'm so sorry. Printed page, coffee page. Printed page, coffee page. And now I don't want all of my dictionary together. So we'll pull something there. We'll get a music and a coffee. And now we can go back to the dictionary. I would like to get one more good round of coffee stained paper done while we still have nice sunny warm days. So if there's a warm day, and I think we're supposed to have a warm day later this week, we may set up the table outside and do another batch of coffee staining. And if that interests you, I would be more than thrilled to do it together, because I do big batch when we do it. We're not messing around. And I got a new lace tablecloth that I think will make really cool stain paper. Okay, so here we have one really chubby signature. So the next decision I have to make is, do I leave it as one really chubby signature or do I divide it in half? And okay, really technical how I make that decision is I fold it in half. Hello, good morning. And I look at it, and that is really a lot for me to sew through. That's what I'm thinking about. So now that I have this, I'm just gonna break it in half, thereabouts. I'm not gonna get real fancy. I'm just gonna kind of divide it into, hi Martha, how are you? I also pulled out a couple of pieces of just this pretty scrapbook paper. Well, Thursday may be our day then in the upper 80s. And I picked these, first of all, they're the last 4 pages in this color scheme. And I think they kind of go pretty with the quilt. So here's the, you can't see both, there you go. So I thought maybe we would just pull out the 2 matching striped pages and make them the outside cover of each signature, okay? So for that, I would need my paper cutter, which is sitting right here. Here it is. It does, these are my favorite colors and florals. They just are, so it is not a surprise. It really isn't. Okay, and since we have really random heights and sizes to our paper, I'm not gonna worry about strict measurements. I'm gonna use it this way. And I'm just gonna kind of see where it comes on the stripe. Hi, Jamie, welcome. And I'm just gonna use my fingernail to make a mark. My almost fingernail. And then this paper cutter is not 12 inches. So I'm gonna use my scissors. And thankfully with the stripe, I should be able to cut a fairly straight line. Maybe. Fairly, not too bad. And then just gonna fold these in half. And then we'll trim off the edges to match our signatures. Okay, so there we go. Not fancy. I love it when we use all of these old vintage papers, nothing matches. And I find that to be very freeing because exact things are not my best suit. That's just being true. Just being true. Okay, now by the feeling of my signatures, this one feels a little bit thicker. So I'm gonna add my sweet little anniversary card to the middle of this one because it feels like it has a little more room, okay? And now we have 2 assembled signatures. Okay, signature is just a group of pages. that are going to sew in a book. That's right, Sherry, you just go with the flow. We are going to we're taking one of my vintage quilt blocks that we have, that we'll have in our sale on Friday, and we are sewing it into a journal cover. So we've got all the old good vintage papers out today, and we've made a couple of signatures, and we're gonna try really hard to get it sewn in here. Now, something you need to know with old textiles, they're no longer square. If you've ever been a quilter, you'll appreciate this. I don't know if you can see, but see how much wider it is here than it is down at the bottom. They just lose their oomph after a while. Okay, now we need to figure out how much of this do we need and how do we want to use it. I don't want a mile of it overhanging for this particular project. And I would like to keep a little strip of it if I could to use for decoration. So I want to make sure I have enough, but not too much. And width-wise, this is really good because I also like to place my book in my cover so that one side just covers the book, and then we have this second side to come over, and then we can make our closure on here. That's my favorite style with fabric. Christina, I love old quilts. I was just heartsick this weekend on Marketplace. I saw a lady who had several cutter quilt sections, and I told her I wanted them, and she said, okay, come and get them. And then she messaged that they were out in a garage sale and somebody picked them up. I was heartbroken. They were so cute. This quilt here was very well loved. It is very threadbare, you can see, which does not bother me at all. But like I said, when I pack you guys' up, I do try to, I keep these more ratty ones for me. Okay. I want to show you in this particular quilt, there's a line right here, and it just so happens that that's the right height for our book. Thank you. Thank you very much. So I'm just going to trim this off at that line. And I don't know if this is long enough to make straps for a tote bag or not, because that's the other thing I really want to make with some. There you go. A lot of love went into this one. I love these, the hand quilting. So if I'm going to use them for bigger projects, but see this one, you can get your finger all the way through. I always, when I'm looking for old quilts, I go for the ones with the heavy quilting. They don't always. You know, some people quilted, like for serious real. This one is the same, like heavily quilted. You can see on the back how many stitches went into that. They're not always like that. Okay, so now that we have our piece of fabric cut to about size, we need to decide where we want these signatures to be sewn in at, okay? So again, thankfully with all this old stuff, it's mostly eyeball, and that works for me, okay? So I wanna give a little bit of room because of course this will grow a little bit, right, as things are added to it. And then I just want to kind of put it in there. All right, so I'm just putting it in there, leaving about where I would want for my flip for the flap. And then I'm searching the table for a pencil. If you could see my table other than this little spot, you would say, well, I know why you can't find a pencil, lady. All right, some kind of marking utensil. She gives up the idea of a pencil and decides she can cover anything. Let me grab one of these light colored pens. Nobody is going to notice this when it's done. Okay, so I double, triple, quadruple check that I'm about in the right place. I just open my book up. I take out my top signature to make my first mark. I also got these really cool gel pens to use in my Bible journaling because they don't bleed through. And I literally sat at my table for 30 minutes trying to open the dumb thing. I kept trying to push. I kept trying to twist. I could not get this pen open. And I thought, I have bought a whole set of colored pens that don't work because you can't get the ink thing to come up. And my 11-year-old daughter, you know, you love a kid that knows these things, walked up to me and she put her finger right here on the little clippy and she went, and I went, oh, yeah, just like this. Now I feel really smart when I know how to open my pen. Okay, back on task. All right, so this bottom one, mine is really bad. It's just bad. And sale week around here, it's terrible. Oh my gosh, a 29-foot fifth wheel. Well, this is a 700 square foot tiny house, and I'm a big crafter. I'm a big girl who's a big crafter. So, sorry, I got the chats. I'm just leaving this one in place, and I'm just gonna make a little mark. Sure I am. There went the little tip off of the pin, so now it should make a mark. And I'm just gonna mark at top and bottom, because when you start sewing in these kind of things into a fabric backer, it's really easy to get crooked. Don't ask me how I know. All right, but it is. And you can even, if you had a pencil, I'm gonna do it with my pen here just real lightly. If you'll do yourself the most good if you just draw a line all the way down. Hello, Cheryl, my friend in California. Okay, then we just need to sew it in. So let me find my needle, which this is my last little bit of this gray twine. You guys know how long I've been using up that gray twine, and it's finally too far gone to use anymore. And I'm gonna grab that white, sure I am, embroidery floss that came in my sweet gift today. Embroidery floss. Hey, Miss Christy is up a little bit later today at my Artful Adventures. Always guaranteed to make a wonderful paper craft. Welcome, Miss Christy. And I'm going to use embroidery floss. If you're fairly new to the book making game, I highly recommend that you too start out with embroidery floss for your binding material. To sew your stuff together. It's plenty strong for everything, and I use it doubled. Okay, so I just leave it doubled on my thing. All right, sure I do, just like that. Okay. Oh, Christy, you earned it, girl. Your crafts are wonderful. She's a great paper crafter, and she's super fun. She makes all the mistakes for you most of the time, and I appreciate that in a crafter. Okay. So, since we have different shaped pages in our books here, and we might want to be sure that we're going to get them all sewn in, we just open it up and give it a look. That's not even folded very straight now that I have it all out there, so let me kind of correct that just a little bit. Put a little better fold in it. And then I'm just going to kind of gather it all up together and stick just one clip. We have lots of extra room, and we've got lots of wiggle space, okay? But this is just so I don't have to babysit it so bad. And then I got to find my green marks, and I'm just going to sew it in. And if my thread runs short, I'll make it single. All right, so I'm just going to go out through the center with my book folded in half. You can always use an awl or other piercing tool to put your pages together with. And then I'm just going to exit my quilt back right on that green line. Okay. And in this case, if I stick true to my green line, everything should turn out okay. Okay. So now I'm going to open it back up because I want to make sure I hit the green line because I know it was straight, right? And I'm actually going to come all the way through that green line. Okay. And then I'm going to open my book and I'm going to line up and decide where to poke through my pages. Okay, in this case, I'm going to open them up and poke through. Okay. Use my table for leverage because I have weak fingers. Okay. All right, and then we're going to spin it around, and we're going to go back through about an inch. I like to leave an inch of headspace or so in my pages, just because it gives me the best chance of hitting everything. Okay, so back through my book and back out on my green line. Okay, now I've got to wiggle some thread. Hi, Missy, how are you? Welcome, welcome. We are sewing some signatures in an old quilt block today. Okay, bring my thread on around. There we go. And now I'm going to go right back through that same middle hole. I can still separate everything if I need to, because I have not done anything too earth-shattering yet. There we go. And you can do this in pieces and stages, okay? When you're sewing in your signatures, I almost always go through my pages and then through my cover. Hi, Elizabeth. And then back and forth, right? Even in a hardcover book, I almost always have to do my pages and then my cover and back and forth. I gotta look. Okay, now that I'm all the way through, let me just make sure that my threads are looking pretty good and that everything snugs in there pretty good and it looks okay. So then I'm just gonna tie a nice knot there. Get these in. Okay. 3, just for good measure. There is no science in that whatsoever. Not for me. Not for me. Okay. And then I'm just going to trim them off. Okay, and there we go. Now we have one signature in. Okay. And make sure, and I just didn't, so I may have to re-sew it back in. If top and bottom matters. Hey Deborah, how are you? I'm doing good. If top and bottom matters in your plan, right, make sure that you put it in right. And I just got lucky and this one is in upside right. Okay, so here's my second set of pages. Putting in a second signature always makes me nervous. Isn't that weird? That's weird, but that's okay. Okay, so I'm just gonna clip. I can't get the card clipped in, so I just have to watch it. Now, I can either draw my line based on my first green line, or I can, look and fiddle. But if you go about a 1/2 inch outside of your last line, okay, you can't even see my green line now. So I can just come in with my pen and just mark what's about a 1/2 inch at my 3 points. Can you see those? Yeah, there you can. It all makes you nervous. It doesn't all make me nervous anymore, but for some reason, I just assume I'm going to mess this part up. Isn't that weird? And I just assume that. And as I always tell you guys, it's just paper. I mean, really, we're not working with, nobody would let me near their heirloom crystal or whatever. I'm too dangerous, but this is just paper. Okay. So I want to use double string. So if you are a measurer, which I really am not, you need about 6 times the length of your book because it takes about 3 to go through with a single thread. But we're using this one because it's just embroidery floss, doubled up. Okay. Okay. Now, I'm going to get right here to the middle and open up that card. I love those cards. And I'm just looking for the middle of my book. Okay. The card swap makes you crazy nervous. Is it because somebody else is looking at something that you made? That is really hard for me to get past. Okay, now this is going through and I'm just sitting here waiting to see if I'm going to poke myself in the hand. You know that it's finally going to really shoot through there. And I use my table. Okay, so I just use the leverage of my table to push that in. Okay. Now this one I could decide. You see where my little card lays. If I really wanted to, I could move my little marks down and catch this card, but I'm pretty much okay with where it is. It'll be wrapped around. Does that make sense? But you decide where you want to do it. Whether you want to go 1 inch from the top or 2 inches from the top, you decide. Oh, no, should not be. I loved my swap stuff, by the way. I love it. Love them all. Here we go. There we go. You guys are really talented and you probably don't give yourselves enough credit. Okay, so I just went right out through that line that I made. And now I'm going to come up here to the top and I'm going to match up the line that I made with the same poke that I had in this other signature. So here was where I went into the paper. So I just came out about that far. Again, I'm not worrying about anything being tight or perfect at this point. I'm just getting it sewn in there. Okay, poking through. Look at that. I didn't even sacrifice a finger. Okay, and I'm opening up my card now because I want to make sure I go through the middle. And then I think I can catch the bottom of this one and be about in line with the other one. Yeah, pretty close. Just look at it. I mean, just flip it around and look at it. First of all, when these things get done, nobody sees the details but you, unless it is one of those, you know, precision 5 or 6 signature books, you know, that has to really be lined up tight. But those aren't my kind of thing because I'm not that good. These are my kind of thing. Okay, and then back out on my mark through the back. Okay, and you can see I've got lots of loose thread back here. That's okay. That's all right, because I'm going to tighten it all up. Okay, now I'm going to go back in through the middle. And I don't want to hit my threads. I would prefer not to tear up my threads. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hit them again. Okay, now I need some more thread. So now we got to snatch some. Don't have any to spare there. Got some to spare here. And that'll give me enough. Okay, now back through where I went through on my pages. And let's make sure we get our cute little card. Try not to go through and split your threads with embroidery floss. Okay, now, if all goes well, we got it all sewed in there. Who knows if it'll all go well, but we're hoping. And what happens, so with my embroidery floss now, you know, embroidery floss has like 6 strands, right? So I have, not on purpose, but I've sewn through it. And so my 12 strands of floss are kind of tangled up here. But since it is separate strands, you can fix it. And now we should be able to get that to tighten up better. There we go. All right, now we got to look at it. Still really loose in here, so we're just chasing string. There we go. Now we're getting closer. All right, now we've got 2 lines of nice, clean thread. We don't have any big gaps back here. So now, just snip my needle off there. Now we're ready to give it a really good tug and a knot. A really good tug. Hey, Pat, how are you, my friend? I hope you guys are having a great day. We've got a few minutes left here together. And then after me is Chris Hunter, the fabulous Chris Hunter, Creating with Chris Hunter. I will be sharing her over as soon as we're done. Crafty Bunch on Monday is always Crafter's Choice. Okay, now the moment of truth. You got to pick it up and shake it. Hallelujah, everything's stuck. Okay, then we can look and see what do we have. We've got our 2 signatures in. That's a lot of pages, y'all. That's a lot of pages in there. And then our cover works just like this. This back one or this side, hey, Miss Jimmy Lou, comes over and just covers the outside edge. And then this comes over this way, and it becomes our choice of how we want to put a closure on it. I have been using a lot of my big buttons, and I really like that. I did that on the one I showed you over here, like this, right? So I just picked one of the bigger buttons of my collection, and I sewed it on the flap, and then underneath it, I just attached the lace, I think you can see it, right in there. And then this just became a wraparound and then go around town on the button. You can also do it. This one is all lace. And I just tied some lace through my back threads here where they came through. And then just, I poked a hole. You can see this one is just fed right through that quilt border, which is just a really simple way to just put some lace around it, and then it just ties right here. And so this one doesn't have anything around the back. It just has its ties, one set through this front cover, just poke through a hole, and the other set is just tied on to my strings on the back, okay? So how you wanna do a closure is totally up to you. Look at, I got my little raggedy block right in there. Thank you. I do not always make beautiful things, but I try when I'm with you. I try. So we have our little scrap quilty hearts that I took off the really ones, and we could decide if we want to use it to cover. We could also use it as just a decorative piece here. Let's do that. I am loving the idea of this. Let's run some lace. I grabbed some. I really did. Here's some white. Maybe this is about the right width. Let me just grab a hunk. If I could find an end, I would grab a reasonable hunk, but as it goes, I've always got the middle. Okay, so there's close to a yard. And let's do this. Let's take our flap here and let's lay a piece of lace just under, right on it. Okay, now I want to think, because I want it to still come around and tie here. So I want to leave enough both directions. Okay. All of this lace. We'll have lace again. I've got it packaged up a little differently for you, but we'll have tons of lace Friday as well. And let's just attach this little fabric heart right here, and it will hold our lace in place and be just a sweet little, we could do it either direction. Maybe this direction's better. That direction's better, isn't it? And I have lots of different sizes because, you know, I got to use every little inch. So I have this one. This one would be cute because it's got the polka dots on half. Too many choices. Too many. That one's too big. It's not really too big. I love big things. I like big things. I do like things that are a little out there. Maybe that one is the one. That is kind of cute. That is kind of cute. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do, because I really do like simple and easy, is I'm just going to stitch through all of this with some more of the embroidery floss. It'll match and it'll be cute, no matter which way we go. I'll warn you, my alarm on my phone is going to go off here in just a second. It means that it's time for Miss Chris Hunter. And so do not be alarmed. Do not be alarmed. All right, I'm looking for the white embroidery floss. Anybody see where I put the whole bundle of white embroidery floss? Because when I craft, I fling everything. Oh, here's some little bitty ones that I stitched. There it goes. Y'all, now I can't find my phone. It's buried over here. That's the one. Okay. I think that is the one. This one's just too big, although I really, really love the colors. It's off the other quilt top. And this one matches. Okay, so I am going to run this lace underneath here, and I'm just going to load up some embroidery floss, and I'm going to stitch right through this heart, right through the lace, and right through the flap. And that's all it's going to take to hold it together. It's just a closure. You know, it doesn't have to hold the universe together. All right, let me check and see if Miss Chris Hunter is with us yet. Hang on with me just a minute. And as soon as I get her shared, I will say goodbye for today. Tomorrow is Crafters in the Kitchen, and I will be on at 2 o'clock Central Time in the afternoon, making some kind of a treat. I pulled out a bunch of different cake mixes. I thought we might do cake mix cookies. I love cake mix cookies. I don't know if you guys do or not, but they're super simple, and they make a small batch of cookies, which in my world is kind of nice, you know, because then they're kind of gone and they're not hanging around my house and we get them eaten. So yes, if you have a question that I'm missing, just private message me, please. Okay. And I will get back to you. Here we go. I'm going to use this gray thread that we usually use for our bookbinding. And I'm just going to put a big old stitch on there. I could run a button through there still with this same piece of thread. But I'm just going to do a little stitch, go a little bit wider. Cake mix cookies. Susan, I love them. I don't know. I just think they're the perfect little quick weeknight treat. And they go together so quickly and they taste good. So we will do that tomorrow. Like I said, my time is 2 o'clock Central. And I'll be there. I don't have any events the rest of this week, but you know me. You'll see me. You will see me. All right, I'm just going to tie a knot in this. And I'm going to leave a little bit of the string showing. I may still come back and put a button through there just because I like the way it looks, not for any other reason. Okay, but just like that, in a simple little motion, now we have a sweet little cover on there. And we just pull our lace around and we're ready to tie it right over here to hold it together. And a little lace bow couldn't be any sweeter than that, right? Trim it off. And look at that. We put together a quilt cover journal. Oh, there's Miss Chris Hunter. I'm going to share her over and say goodbye to you guys for today. You guys mean so much to me. I am so, so thankful for you. I pray you have a blessed day. I'll see you tomorrow. And I hope you know that you are cared for. See ya. Bye.